Good evening. Thank you very much for choosing to watch the Uganda Catholic Television. It's the 15th day of January 2025. Welcome to Uctv News. The Forum for Democratic Change Party has announced its intention to fully participate in the 2026 general elections by fielding candidates in all elective positions, including a presidential candidate. This declaration was made by the party president, Patrick Oboy Amuriat, during his New Year press briefing at the party's headquarters in Najjanakumbi. Amuriat revealed that the FDC plans to hold a delegates conference in June to strategize for the elections and elect a suitable presidential candidate. He also confirmed that the party will resume countrywide mobilization tours later this month to strengthen grassroots support.
That we will be having a national delegates conference in June to elect our flag bearer. We have decided that this takes place in June to give us enough leverage to understand how 2026 is going to play out, because as you are aware, the Electoral Commission will be nominating presidential flag bearers in October this year. Our e-registration. When we set out to do our e-registration, we said to you, Mr. Mayanja, I hope you were here during that press conference, that our e-registration is an ongoing exercise. It's a work in progress. We also stated to you that what we are looking for are members, those who are willing to pay for their cards and continue to subscribe to the party. This does not mean that we have given up on sympathizers and supporters and well-wishers. We also gave the example of one of the outstanding democracies in the world, and that is the UK. Where I think the ruling party, the Labour Party today, in a democracy of 45 million, has only about 350 registered members, 50,000 registered members. So to answer your question directly, I don't have the exact figure. We'll have to check on that. But my estimation the last time that we got feedback is that we have registered up to 50,000 members. Now those are committed members, those who will die for the party, those who will contribute financially to the party, those who will campaign for the party, and that is a large number. We are very happy about what we have achieved. And we are also going to go out. You clap for us for that matter, members of the media.
Now, following the adoption of the 10-year CADP action plan and the transformative Kampala Declaration for Africa's agri-food systems by African leaders, the Uganda People's Congress Party has called on the Ugandan government to urgently address the persistent issue of land grabbing, which they argue undermines the growth of the cultural, or rather agricultural sector. During a weekly press briefing at the party headquarters in Kampala, Sharon Oyat Arach, the party's spokesperson, emphasized that implementing the new CADP strategies in Uganda will remain challenging unless corruption and land grabbing are eradicated.
Last week, Uganda successfully hosted an extraordinary African Union summit on the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Programs, CADP, in Munyonyo. During the summit, African leaders including Uganda's own President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni endorsed and drafted a new CADP action plan aimed at ending hunger and promoting sustainable resilient agro-food systems.
In order to launch our agriculture on the journey of socio-economic transformation away from the pre-capitalist, pre-socialist traditional mode to modern commercial agriculture, we have done the following. Roman 1, politically mobilize through sensitization the people to move away from the pre-money working only for the stomach to commercial agriculture with the chibaro, with the calculation.
While addressing the fourth estate, UPC's spokesperson Sharon Oyat stated that there are a number of challenges frustrating the prosperity of Uganda's agriculture sector, despite various attempts by the president to transform it into commercialized agricultural production.
One of the issues is land grabbing, which is now a new normal, unfortunately, due to the weak land tenure systems, corruption within government officials, and the lack of secure land titles for local communities, leading to larger corporations acquiring vast tracts of land, often at the expense of the local population, among others. We all know right now the land bank is in northern Uganda. And on several occasions, we have seen many northerners coming up and calling on government to come to their rescue. People are buying land and others are grabbing it forcefully. We have seen many members of parliament, especially from northern Uganda, coming up to call government. The Balalo are taking their land in the guise of feeding their cattle. But once they put their cattle on your land, they don't want to leave. And these are some of the things we have been saying. Unfortunately, much as the northern Uganda has plenty of land, they are unable to productively use their land.
It is upon this ground that she called upon the government to swing into action and address these and many other bottlenecks if the country is to implement and achieve the CADP 10-year targets.
We are urging government to reconsider the land policy and laws to protect the landowners, especially the widows and children, since these are more vulnerable to land grabbers. When you see many of the people complaining about their land, they are women, widows, without husbands, children, orphans. And these are people that do not even have the slightest protection from government. As UPC, we are saying this has to stop. Bringing a summit all the way from the African Union to come to Uganda, and we are still having the same issues that Ugandans have been raising, it does not help if there is no proper implementation and proper policies in place to help us curb some of these issues.
On the other hand, she expressed concerns about the decline in government funding for aided schools, which she says has led to a decrease in the quality of education, resulting in incompetent professions since many cannot afford private education.
The government has not only reduced the quality of education, but also reduced the funding to the closure and destruction of many of these schools. Look at any of the UPE schools, if you have any in your villages or in your district or around your home. What is the state of that school? The ones that are lucky to have infrastructure, they do not have windows or doors. They do not have desks or even chairs. That is the state of the UPE and USE schools that we have, and government is saying they're educating their citizenry. And as UPC, we are saying this is not how Ugandans should be educated. This is not how the Ugandan deserves to be treated, because their parents are paying tax, and the bare minimum they should get is a quality education in a conducive environment.
This comes at a critical time when learners are preparing to return to school for a new academic term. Unfortunately, many government-aided schools are ill-prepared to provide quality education, as they are still struggling with inadequate infrastructure and resources. Joseph Kabale, Uctv News.
Welcome back. This is the Uganda Catholic Television and you are watching UCTV News. As we continue with dental health problems are on the rise in Uganda with increasing consumption of sugary foods and syrups among both adults and children being the primary culprit. Dental experts have cautioned. Speaking to our reporter, Dr. Naftali Nabasa, a dental surgeon from Oral Health Uganda, confirmed that many Ugandans, especially children, are suffering from conditions like tooth decay and gum disease, locally referred to as kaboli.
If you can spend 2 to 3 days, for even a month or even a year without brushing, without flossing, just know that you're giving a conducive environment for tooth decay to occur in your mouth. Then second, we talked about, of course, germs that we say they occur in our mouth. Then we said feeding on sugary food products. Yeah, sugary food products like, of course, yogurt and any other kind of processed sugars are the leading cause of tooth decay. In children, for example, we say that sharing toothbrushes can be a way of how these microorganisms or germs are spreading from one person to another. Pressing your toothbrush on the gum line where our teeth are joining the gum, we call it just at the gingival line or the gum line. Press your toothbrush, let it be covering at least 3 to 4 teeth. The bristles of your toothbrush should be covering 3 to 4 teeth away or immediately on the gum line. So make back and forth strokes, at least like 4 of them, back and forth strokes, and then sweeping down. We are trying to remove this food debris away from our teeth and then take them out, not just mixing them with saliva and then on our tongue, So when it reaches on, of course, on our anterior teeth or the front teeth, we are going to change the angle or the position of how we hold the toothbrush. You need to have opened your mouth fully and then press your toothbrush in this right angle. Make sure you're brushing them as you're taking out. The major timing and the time of how we should be brushing is, you should wake up very early in the morning, eat your breakfast, take a shower. After taking a shower, of course, and eating, let the brushing be the last option before you go to your job. So when you reach at your job, you're now at your job and you've eaten your lunch, just rinse. We advise someone to just rinse. You would have removed all these food particles before they harden. Rinsing with water, not any other thing. Then another brushing should just take place that evening before sleeping, before bedtime. They like using charcoal, thinking that it's going to brighten their teeth, which is very wrong. So as dentists, of course, we condemn it and we always advise them, if they want their teeth to be white, as they expect, they should come and we do tooth whitening, professional teeth whitening, than just using the charcoal, because really the charcoal, some of them are always sharp and they can cause bruises or injuries on the gums. So it is very bad, and once you see those elders, please advise them not to again use charcoal.
Mbabazi Zainab, a trader in Kalere, has shared her inspiring journey from humble beginnings to significant growth, starting with a capital of just 15,000 Uganda shillings, selling yellow bananas along the northern bypass. Her business has now expanded to a capital of 150,000 Uganda shillings. She encourages fellow women to take initiative and start working towards their goals.
Mbabazi Zainabu, a trader in Kalere, has shared her experience and the story of how she started selling yellow bananas and the impact this small business has brought to her life.
Kolera wano Kalere mu Kibezoni. Naku zino emirimu si mirungi, tegitambula bulungi, temulimu kasente bulungi kutwaliza wamu kuba ebintu byalinnya, bakasitoma tebaliimu, abaguzi batono. Bakasitoma tebalina ssente okutwaliza wamu, okusomozebwa okulala kwe tulina KCCA oba wakakola ne bakugobaganya kale bingi.
Despite the challenges that she faces while operating this particular business, Mbabazi has encouraged her fellow women to find something to do other than sitting home and wait for someone else to provide for them.
ezo nziyita nte z'omu biyumba. Mbebaza abakyali ku mulembe ogw'okugamba nti babeere ente z'omu biyumba nga tebaagala kukola naye bazuukuke kuba nange nalinga bo naye nasobola okusaba Mukama nankwatirako. Nsaba abakyala bannange okusituka ffenna tukole. Lwaki nze natandikira ku ssente ntono. Guno omulimu nasookebwa kusoomozebwa, nsomozebwa abansekerera naye essaawa eno nkoze nsobola okwerabirira, nsobola okulabirira obulamu bwange eyandabako emabega era nkimanyi nti bangi mummanyi si yembeera gye nkyalimu nakyuka. Nze guno omulimu gwange ogw'amenvu nasobola okutandikira ku mutwalo gumu mu 14 naye essaawa eno ntikula amenvu ag'emitwalo 15.
Just like any other business, Mbabazi also faces some losses, but this does not stop her from working.
Buli kimu okkiriza embeera naye kulemerako kuba tegatambula bulungi okutwaliza wamu ogagula bakasitoma ne babula ne gavunda n'oyiwa naye kwoba oterese kojjayo era n'ozaawo kuba tomanya kyanca.
M. Frank, Uctv News.
It is time for Today in History. And that's all we had for you this Wednesday edition of Uctv News. I'm Sunday Gloria Awards, and I wish you the very best of Wednesday evening.